Hello, my name is Connor, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I really love this album. This is an anime tie-in album for the anime Bocchi The Rock, and honestly, I love that show, and I love this album, and I love really everything in between. When I went to Japan earlier this year, I had a lot of things I wanted to accomplish, places I wanted to see, blah, 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 blah. More so than anything though, I had a fairly long shopping list. One of those things on the shopping list was this vinyl right here. I believe this came out in 2023, and now in 2025, I finally have my goddamn hands on it. Right off the bat, I should probably say that this album has no right to be as fantastic as it is. Maybe you don't believe me. This is an excerpt from the wiki page for this album, okay? Commercially, it peaked at #1 on the Billboard Japan Hot Albums chart and the Oricon Albums chart and was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of Japan. Furthermore, according to Billboard Japan, this was the top downloaded album of 2023. So obviously, it's not just me who likes this album. So with that said too, hopefully you have heard this album, but if not, I'm gonna spit some game. I think I'm also gonna leave that right there because I can't be holding this the whole time or I'll go crazy. So I suppose we should start off with the basic information for the anime itself. The name of the show is Bocchi The Rock, and in that show there are 4 main characters, which are right here. First you have Nijika Ichiki, and then you have Ryo Yamada, and then you have Iki Okita, and then you have this thing right here, okay? This is the main character. Her name is Hitori Bochigoto. The basic plot of the show is as follows. Hitori loves music and also playing the guitar, but she has crippling anxiety. With that as the setup, the show follows the group's exploits as they form a band and also navigates this very early stage of their musical careers too. With Hitori being the main character, her, main plot is mainly revolving around her attempting to improve her guitar skills as well as her social skills too. So now back to this album right here. Every member of the band in universe and also in real life delivers a killer performance. I can only really describe the guitar on these songs as like vicious sounding. And that's not even the case on every song because not every song is a hard rock, hard punk sort of song. Maybe if you've never heard this album, you would not really expect that from an album with this kind of cover, right? I would maybe even say it's to the point that I feel like some of the guitar work is maybe taking inspiration from progressive rock, but more specifically djent. And so while yes, I am hyping up the musicians and the instrumentalists and the composers and the producers, blah, 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 the voice actresses who are actually singing these songs too are doing an amazing job as the respective characters too. Now, primarily, the lead singer is this thing right here. However, she gets a song, she gets a song, and she gets a song too. I should also probably mention that all of the voice actresses are really good singers too, though that's not really too surprising given that their whole job is contorting their voice in a very specific way. So like they're kind of made for this kind of assignment, I suppose. While yes, there is some pitch correction, I would also say that it is very minimal and also used in very specific instances. There's never really a moment in pretty much any of the songs where I think a normal person couldn't hit that same note, or I guess maybe hold out that one note for as long as the voice actress does. So I guess in a way that also makes the characters seem a little bit more real too, because they aren't the most amazing singers out there. They are more or less regular high schoolers. This is an awful segue, but now I want and I need to talk about the collaborators for this album. There are a very select handful of like masters of their craft that were chosen to help contribute for this album. While there are lots, I do want to go over just a few of them. First off, solo pop artist Ai Higuchi. Awesome pick. Second off, Ikkyu Nakajima, lead singer of my favorite band, Tricot. Maguro Taniguchi, lead singer of Kanaboom, and then Yuho Kitazawa, lead singer of the Peggies. There are also lots of contributions from industry veteran anime music composers as well, so that's not really too out of the ordinary. Like I sort of alluded to there, my favorite song is probably by Ikkyu Nakajima because she's one of my favorite singers of all time. With that said, I would like to officially induct Kessoku Band into the Tricot Extended Universe. That is a playlist on my channel in which I talk about all of the side projects of all of the members of Tricot because there are a ton. They stay busy. Even if they're not coming out with new Tricot albums, they are still making music all the time with every other band in existence somehow. With so many amazing artists lending their talents for this album, it's really hard not to view these songs as just incredibly high quality. While I will say that I do think the album is somewhat front-loaded with a lot of the singles and also the in-universe songs from the show that the band makes, the last half is all killer, no filler. It is astounding how good it gets, and it also just takes these really interesting musical leaps across like every genre almost. Maybe if you're not enjoying the first 3 to 4 songs because they are so typical J-pop, J-rock anime sounding, start with song 7, which is titled Ano Band. That is really what I feel like kickstarts the album off, I think, though of course I do still like every song leading up to that one in the track list. The real strength of this album is probably how it handles all of these multiple kinds of musical stylings. There are some really expressive, groovy tracks, as well as some aggressive ones, as well as a cover at the end of this album too. Because of this, I do really feel like this album has something for everyone. For example, if you do like that really mainline J-rock anime sounding music, you have fantastic songs like Hitori Bocchi Tokyo. Maybe in case you like math rock and jazz, there is also a song for you too, which is titled If I Could Be a Constellation. And this song is probably my favorite on the album, maybe. There are so many good ones. I only say this because the main guitar lick for this song has been seared in my memory for 3 years. I can't get it out. It's so incredibly catchy and slick and just hits you right where you want it to hit. The second to last song of this album is titled Flashbacker. This is a really dark and also kind of solemn post-rock song. Although I wouldn't say it's quite as heavy of a post-rock song as maybe something you would hear from Cleon Hoteishiki or also maybe Hammerhead Shark, I could see fans of those bands also really enjoying this one too. And then as I keep bringing it up, there is a literal Tricot song which is titled Kara Kara. This, of course, is written by Tricot frontwoman Ikkyu Nakajima, but in universe, this is actually sung by the bassist of this band, whose name is Ryo Yamada. And again, it's that one right there. I need you to hold my hand as I say this, okay? This quite literally sounds like a Tricot song from their very first album, THE. It is that much of a exact throwback to that specific sound from the band's history 12 years ago. Oh, and I guess maybe in case you're interested on hearing my thoughts about that album, video right here, please go watch, thank you. Lyrically and vocally, but also the sound of the guitar and the bass sound exactly like they were written by Kita Motifor and Hiromi Sagane from Tricot. It is such their trademark sound that it is hard for me to believe that they are not uncredited writers for this song because it is so indicative of their very famous style of writing their parts in their songs. More so than anything, the outro of this song is classic Tricot, as seen on the outro of songs such as Pool. With all that said, I think it is so fitting for this band to actually be covering a wide variety of styles. That's because each of the characters come from their own musical background, and so because of that, they are able to integrate their styles into the sound of Kessoku Band. With that said, I do also think that it's very important to actually note how these songs play in regards to the show's plot as well. On one hand, I think it's important to enjoy the band's music. On the other hand, I do think it is something else entirely to see them write the songs and then also stumble as a band when problems arise. The show isn't real, however, the predicaments that the characters find themselves in certainly are. Because of that, I do find that the songs have something of an instilled sense of familiarity and also empathy that I feel like anyone who watches the show would probably have if maybe they were in the same situation. I do feel like the lyrics are also a reflection of this reality as well. Take, for example, the song Ano Band, which is about being inspired by an experience that you have from listening to another band's music. That song I mentioned a minute ago, titled Flashbacker, is also about being forgotten despite all of your past achievements. All of this culminates in the final song too, and that's because the final song is actually a cover of the song Rock and Roll Morning Light Falls on You by the band Asian Kung Fu Generation. This is the only song in which the main character Hitori actually sings herself, and this is because of the significance that it has to her character and also the story as a whole. This band is also Hitori's favorite band as well. That said, the significance of this being the only song that Hitori sings is very obvious, I think. As Hitori, her voice has this very noticeable sense of desperation and also anxiety to it. I find that this choice really allows for the singer to make the song her own, both for herself and also for the character who would definitely sing this song in this way. I think it's small aspects of the album that make it seem so real and authentic, even if it actually isn't. I think the way in which the voice actresses and also the writers of the songs are just able to capture that authenticity of an inauthentic media property is a really remarkable thing, and I think is what really makes this album so enticing for me. So I'm not really planning this video as a proper review. I just kind of wanted to yap about this album. With that said though, I would probably rate this a 10 out of 10. I can't find a single fault with it. And so, you know, a flawless album can really only be considered a 10, right? Because it's flawless. So 10 out of 10. I believe this album came out on Christmas Day 2022, and so since then, Kessoku Band has actually released 3 EPs and also a live album too. There is another cover of another Asian Kung Fu Generation song on one of those EPs. Most notably, it's my favorite song, Riri, and it's probably most people's favorite song by that band too, I would think. And also, yes, Hitori is singing it. Something else that is very cool for me specifically, and probably for a lot of you watching this video too, Chiaki Sato, lead singer of Kinoko Teikoku, is actually the songwriter of another song from one of the other EPs. This song being the one titled Bundle Up Your Dreams from their second EP. Yes, in case you're wondering, it sounds a lot like mid-career Kinoko Teikoku. I think ultimately what makes me so happy about this band and this album existing is probably that we finally have a proper successor to Hokago Tea Time from K-On! From 2007, 2008. There is just so much amazing stuff happening on this album that I encourage you to please listen to it. Even if you think you won't like it, I think at least you will find 1 or 2 songs that you really do. Maybe if you do end up liking some of these songs too, you should check out that show. It's really good, it's really funny, they have already confirmed a 2nd season. I wouldn't call myself a super fan, though I do like it a lot. I really love the characterization of the characters, and of course I love the music too. Yeah, that's really all I have to talk about. I just wanted to yap about how much I love this album and how happy I am that I have it on vinyl, because it is one of my favorite, I guess, mainstream J-pop albums from the 2020s, maybe the 2010s as well. If you have listened to this album, let me know what you think about it. Maybe if you haven't listened to it yet, let me know what you do think of it after you listen to it, because like I said, I think you should. Maybe if it's the case that you aren't subscribed to my channel and you just kind of ran across this just on your For You page on YouTube, maybe subscribe. I talk about stuff like this all the time, but primarily Japanese music. That is kind of my thing. So yeah, stick around maybe if you feel like it. That would certainly make me happy. And you want to make me happy, right? Right? So anyway, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you around. Bye.